So, I think everyone kind of saw this video coming. There's no way you can really be a person who makes videos online and then not address this kind of shit. And realistically, I think this channel kind of thrives in this kind of conversation anyway. So I wanted to let people know where I'm at, because I'm not traditional when it comes to this kind of shit. So I just want to talk about my thoughts and feelings. And hope to God this camera has a long battery life on it. It should. Let's check. I can't see from this perspective. God damn it. Okay, it does. So I can, because I'm probably going to ramble for a while. So might as well just check now. So with the recent goings on in the media and in various states and cities, including the one that I live in, Georgia has its current protesting slash kind of violent riots going on. I'm not in Atlanta, so I'm not like directly, although I've already heard from my friends and family that supposedly there are marches going on like in my city, but like I'm obviously not there, so I'm not sure. That's just what I've heard so far. I haven't really looked it up. So I try to be objective about these situations. I try not to let the color of my skin be my only defining characteristic. And I try to look at everything from both sides of the coin, because realistically, most people don't do that. Most people aren't willing to sit down and have a conversation anymore. That's why I always say one of the most important things to me is open-mindedness. I could give a fuck less about a lot of things, but open-mindedness is key, because that will allow you as a person to be able to grow and change through constantly challenging not only yourself and your beliefs against other people, and to see if you can't learn or gain something out of the conversation. Even if you don't agree, you can usually gain some sense of understanding. But people don't understand this is a hard fucking thing to do, and this is one of those situations where it's really fucking hard. It's really hard to sit there and be constantly challenged, or to constantly put yourself in a situation where you're emotionally uncomfortable, but realistically that's the choice you go into when you want to hear every side of the coin. And so that's what I did. I sat there and watched people talk about the shit that was going on with officers in various states, but I also saw the other side of the coin with a bunch of rioting and looting going around. I've seen the talk about how, I think Minnesota mentioned recently, I think it was the mayor who was like 80% of the people who were rioting weren't from that state. They're like, the majority of the people causing the problems aren't even from the states, aren't even from that state. So I'm trying to go back and forth and get information, and then I have to make the decision of what I choose to believe and what I don't choose to believe. Do I believe that there's a bunch of cops staging a bunch of shit? Like, I think that there was a bunch of videos talking about how, they're staging shit and they're leaving these bricks conveniently here to cause some anarchy. Like we're being quote unquote set up. That's the whole idea. And there's a bunch of this shit going on, and the reality is that everyone ain't. The cold hard truth of the matter is that nobody, I feel like, is 100% right, other than in the reality that George fucking died by having a man put too much pressure on his neck for an elongated amount of time. Although I know he's already been charged and been fired and charged, but I think the current issue now, at least from what I understand, is to get the other officers who were involved and didn't do anything. I think that's what we're doing at this point. The reason why I say I think is because at this point it feels, and that kind of goes in some of my criticisms on one side of the coin, it feels like at this point, because here's the kicker. I know a lot of people are like, see, the people even causing this shit aren't even Minnesotans, and I'm like, yeah, but they're still Americans. They're still people from other states coming to co-sign on some shit, which kind of proved the point that a lot of people had, that like, a lot of people don't give a fuck about George. No one, and it always pisses me off. It's like the Michael Jackson logic. Well, Michael Jackson's not the best example, but it's like the Trayvon Martin thing, where no one gave a shit until the boy was dead. And the argument is, well, the situation in which that individual died shouldn't have happened in the first place. And in that argument, especially with George, that's 100% true. If the man was handcuffed and the man was detained, there was no reason for you to have no emotion in you to leave your fucking knee on this man's neck for an insane amount of time, to the point where the man was passed out and you still wouldn't move your goddamn knee, and the man was telling you he couldn't breathe before he passed out. At that point, yeah, I can understand people, and I understand that it's not just this situation that's causing it. It's the years and years of shit happening and no retribution being taken, right? The fact that, like, they were out, because the argument is that, obviously my argument would be something along the lines of saying how this rioting isn't helping anything. The reality is that both methods work. It's just easier to do violence. Violence is easy. The easy route is always the most dangerous. Although you would argue that the hard route is just as dangerous in this situation, because they could both have the same outcomes. Well, at least, but the point I'm making is that, like, that I understand that the basis behind it is more so that this has been going on for years and decades and shit. That, like, it's been a continuous situation of motherfuckers getting convicted or shit happening to black people and feeling like the justice system or the system in general ain't doing shit for you. And now the frustration is built up to a point where now you see a man lying on the ground and people are just like, fuck him. And part of me, that's the part of me that can understand that emotional pain and why people feel the need to go out there and protest. Then I got the other side of the coin, where when you start looking at statistics and facts and you realize it's not really as disproportionate to black people as people like to say it is. And part of it is because of social media in general. The social media likes to sensationalize every fucking thing and turn everything into a goddamn blown up picture when all it was meant to be is a GIF. Like, and that's part of the conversation. People don't want to acknowledge it. And the fact that motherfuckers' towns are being destroyed to prove a point. And like I said, I understand why. But it doesn't help the situation when we're doing funds and we're going to support it. It shouldn't have got... Why was that the first choice? I don't understand what point that's making. I never understood why destroying your own businesses and homes... Well, let me rephrase that. It's just the businesses. Because you wouldn't fuck with your own house, but you damn sure will fuck with another man's business. Target, fine. Because Target is a big business. AutoZone, fine. You were fucking with black home businesses and shit. And you co-signed on this shit. That's the reason why I never co-signed on Black Lives Matter. Because although they had their valid points and criticisms, you know what the problem was? You had too many angry motherfucking African Americans, or just people in that group in general, who would just run the fuck off with an idea. There were also plenty of cases where I actively agreed with Black Lives Matter. Actively disagreed is what I meant to say. Actively disagree with when they were outraged about certain cases that I looked at and went, nah, I don't really think the cops are in the wrong in that situation. But motherfuckers don't care because it's another black man being killed. But then you throw out the argument about why aren't you doing nothing about the situations in your own community, and no one gives a fuck. And obviously you got the conversation going on between some of the white people and some black people talking about how, like, black people like to always bring up the institutionalized racism and how we built this country and the amount of disrespect we get. And white people's argument always turns into this whole, why is that all you are? And part of me agrees with that side of the argument in the sense that, like, I understand where we came from, and that's why I don't really trip that a lot of black African Americans struggle in this country due to the system they were brought into. At the same time, it's so easy, and it aggravates me, because black people have all these little things you can throw out. African Americans, it's so easy to just get complacent and just chill in that zone. And so many African Americans sit and chill in that zone. They take advantage of all these other things. And then they're like, oh, well, it's owed to us because of this institutionalized racism. But then they want to talk about how, but like, and then we get into the rioting and it turns into the same shit, the rioting and the protesting. It's like, what do you want? We want an equal and fair system, but that change doesn't happen in a day. Like the protesting and the rioting, how long is that gonna last? I don't know. Like at this point, I think, like I said, I think the why it's still going on is due to the other officers involved during that whole situation not getting charged slash fired, I guess. Charged slash fired or prosecuted. And it's like, bro, at this point, and because here's my thing, at the end of the day, I think the thing I can agree with is the protesting. Fine, you want to get out there and say your piece, but of course, and what frustrates me more so is that there's video evidence of both sides of the coin. Niggas stealing and breaking shit and taking crap. Because as much as you can sit there and talk about, you want to sit there and talk about them taking, about how the rioters aren't even from the state. It's still black people. like the anarchists are still black people. Now granted, there are white people tripping out too. But like, there's still black people in those groups stealing cars, breaking into buildings, not giving a fuck. And regardless if you're from the state or not, that's still, considering we've turned this into a race issue. Now, of course, it's always going. It's one of those situations, and it's almost jarring that like people turned it into a race issue when it was literally just. But it's because of the difference in skin color. And in retrospect, it's almost kind of fucked because it's like, why did y'all turn it into a race issue? It was perceived as a race issue because the two people involved were of different colors, and people immediately go to race. And I'm like, bro, you shouldn't even have brought it up because that's not, like, that shouldn't be the argument. The argument is that a man was killed unjustly. But you turn it into a race issue because black people need a reason to get angry about it specifically. I'd be curious how crazy it would have been if it was another black person doing it. I'm curious. I imagine, because then you can't throw out the argument about race like everyone wants to do. And I hate that shit. And I hate the fact that because I'm a black dude, I'm expected to be in that same fucking line talking about, are you going to be an ally? Hate that terminology. Black Lives Matter. Hate that fucking terminology. Because it always comes back to this. And I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired, bro. And that's on the same coin. You got videos of fucking police trampling people with a goddamn horse. Motherfuckers throwing tear gas, arresting the fucking reporter. Arresting the black reporter but leaving the white reporter alone. It's always this shit. And then you get the one or two videos of like a black cop or like some decent officer in general talking in a way that the black demographic's like, alright, he's an ally. I hate that word. I hate it. I hate it. And it makes me mad. Everyone always makes this argument about how we know there are good cops out there, but they're making it worse for all of you. But that's not what you turned this conversation into in the first place. This conversation stopped being about cops a minute ago. Now it's just about it's about black people again. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I'm flipping. I'm constantly shifting all around this bitch. Because you got these fucking cops doing dumb shit and beating people randomly. And then you got motherfuckers inciting violence by throwing fucking beer bottles and glass and hammers and shit, shattering windows, because fuck the police. Fuck all of them. You got the couple of them that actually trying to have a conversation, cool, but like the majority of it is the same shit. And the reality is that it's bad people in different outfits. That's the reality of the situation. That motherfucker who killed George ain't no different than a motherfucker on the street having the same kind of mentality. But because you went and did the fucking training and got the suit and you put it on and you wore the badge and you did all this other shit, it's now it's a police brutality thing. You need to fix people in this country. And the problem is that we already got motherfuckers damning individuals because I'm not co-signing on what the fuck you think about. That's what trips me out. If you don't think this is an injustice, then get out of my follows and mentions. No! Have the conversation. No one wants to have the conversation. Motherfuckers just want to put out an agenda, and then that's fucking it. Hey, man, what you mean you don't think this is injustice? You a fucking racist. You a part of the problem in this country. And then guess what? You haven't changed the mind. There hasn't been a conversation. Nothing's been achieved. All you did was just run that motherfucker off into another group that has that same hive mentality. All we got right now online and in the world is a bunch of hive fucking mentalities. Nobody wants to have a conversation because you deem yourself right and everyone else loses in the long run. Because guess what? There are fucking cops out there beating people with no reasoning. People getting trigger happy with the rubber bullets. People throwing tear gas at people who haven't done anything wrong. And at the same time, you got a bunch of fucking people who are running around smashing windows and stealing TVs and fucking up businesses and shit. And then what kills me is then they get mad. And the irony is that this shit won't end. What will end up happening is that this shit will all... And then what makes it worse is half of you motherfuckers only are on this cosigning shit and you'll go home. That's what trips me out. You got a bunch of people who will go the fuck home and not have to deal with any of the consequences. Oh, I don't even shop at that Target. Oh, I don't even live in that part of town. I don't give a fuck. Oh, I never went to that black-owned business. Because, everyone always talks about how these businesses aren't supported. But when we break it, now they get supported because it's a race issue. But like normally, fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them, right? Fuck them. And I'm sitting here like a dumbass stuck in the same fucking position, questioning my life. Like this is what I gotta deal with. But it sucks. It sucks on so many levels because it's people. We are the worst creatures on this fucking planet, bro. But white people are worse because of their history. Motherfuckers want to talk about white privilege. It's not white privilege, it's power privilege, is what you mean to say. That's the core of it all. But of course, I said it as a black person, Uncle Tom ass nigga. That's what the situation turns into. Motherfuckers are so easy to dismiss. They don't want to have a conversation. You're so ready to be combative and shit and emotion because your emotions are high. And I get it. Another black man died to some bullshit that comes off as racism and you're sick of it. I understand the frustration. I understand the protesting. I understand I'm tired of traditional ways of dealing with it in a peaceful manner. So fuck them. But people out here saying, fuck that Target. Fuck that AutoZone. Fuck that O'Reilly's. You bitches were still gonna buy from these companies, by the way. That's what trips me out. It's only when this shit happens that then it's like, fuck these companies. The rest of the time, you bitches don't care because you buy into the same shit like every other American. But now it's a fucking problem. And whoever supporting the races, do you think half of the shit you subscribe to, the half of the shit you get your hands into as an American consumer doesn't have its hands in it? Remember, these are the same individuals who believe in all that conspiracy theory shit. Motherfuckers just out here leaving bricks and shit for motherfuckers to take up and throw at the wall. And motherfucker in the video was like, don't get caught up. So whose fault is it? Is it fucked up if that is the case, that a motherfucker is leaving bricks on the ground for a motherfucker to take and smash a window with? Fucking right. It's fucking disturbing as shit if it's true. At the same time, nobody told you to pick up them fucking bricks. Nobody told you to smash them windows when the first crazy anarchist motherfucker was smashing windows. But guess what you did? You followed along because it was easy as fuck. It's easy for a motherfucker to be a sheep. Well, I didn't start it. Well, now you want to absolve yourself of guilt. And I know I'm flipping between the same, but this is literally how it feels to be on Twitter and to watch the news and follow social media on this shit. It's constant reminders that neither side is justified 100%. People want to show the videos of like cop cars running. I don't know if they ran someone over, but I know they like one dude. There's a video of a cop car opening its door and smacking one of the protesters that are standing out there. But then you show me a fucking video of a kid jumping on a police car. The fuck made you think that was smart to do? And it constantly flips. Some of you don't know what the fuck you're doing. The police don't know what the fuck they're doing. The reason why it's worse for the police is because you went to training. You went to school. This is your profession. You need to do better. And I'm glad I am hearing, and it frustrates me though, that the violence had to break out and to prove that, oh, guess what? Violence does work, kids. And I'm like, fuck. I think that was like the saddest thing to me, bro. The saddest fucking thing to me was when the fucking, it's that at the end of this incident, one of the things that people will take away from this situation is violence fucking works. Riots fucking work. Wow, now we need to keep doing them. And I'm like, fuck. That's like the one, to me, that's one of the most frustrating things. And people go, that's the most frustrating thing? What about black lives getting killed? Injustices will always happen because people are flawed creatures. And we will never 100% learn. It will always be that percentage that fucks shit up for a lot of people. And that's the situation. Primarily the goal nowadays is to lower that number as much as we can. But there is human flaws. People are inherently flawed. We are imperfect beings. We are one of the most dangerous but one of the dumbest creatures on the fucking planet. I don't ever believe that we will truly kill racism in the sense of no one ever being racist. But what we will do over time is that if nothing else, we will at least create a world in which that is the minority. The racists are the minority instead of being a majority or a. But see, the thing is, it doesn't take a lot for a person to claim dominance or ego over somebody else. It's way too fucking easy, if anything. To be like, well, see, listen. I mean, people did it with religious standing. Well, see, people do it all the time. From where you're from who you know, what religion you are, what car you drive, what shit you own. Motherfuckers do this all the time. Racism is just the version that's based off of skin color. But the egotism has always been there. Oh, I'm a Christian, and you're an atheist, so I'm better than you. Oh, I drive a Porsche, and you drive a Cobalt. I'm better than you. Oh, what's that? You went to UCLA and I went to Harvard. I'm better than you. Like, it's always that kind of shit because humans are just bad creatures. Like, I'm openly aware of the situation. And that's why I want to make a video. Part of me didn't want to make a video. Part of me didn't want to keep looking at Twitter. Part of me still doesn't want to look at Twitter. And guess what's open on my fucking computer screen? Twitter, because I'm fucking stupid. But I'm also looking at each side of the coin. You're burning out houses, and people are like, well, we're gonna make relief funds. So when you fuck up the community, then you want to support it, but that shit doesn't always happen. And like I said, half the people protesting don't give a fuck. I still have a high chance to believe that the same shit will still happen. The motherfuckers won't care. Motherfuckers don't care now. Motherfuckers out there who don't care, but just want to be a part of some shit. We're in COVID right now still. And COVID shit's been going up. Half of these people are probably going to get sick. Some of which might get sick again. And then guess what? You get a bunch of individuals who are now not only sick, but will probably add to the death toll. Man, there were more effective ways to get your point across. You can do so many things. So many motherfucking things. And it frustrates me that it's going to boil down to the same shit of violence fixed the problem. And then, ironically enough, you're breeding more hatred in the process. You got a bunch of business owners who are going to be like, bro, this is so stupid. We were financially fucked during COVID. You went and broke my shit. And people think, well, we're going to fix this shit. You think that anger goes away? Did it go away when you, quote unquote, when black people got certain privileges when it came to getting into schools and shit? No. Guess what y'all said? It wasn't enough. Motherfuckers hold grudges. We hold grudges. So don't be surprised that just because you fix the building, the people, that's still trauma that an individual had to deal with that night. They had to deal with the fucking. And now they know how black people feel. What if they're black themselves? Guess what? They have to deal with it from their own people, and they have to deal from it with the fucking police. And no one wants to hold them down. And that's still going to be a thing. That's still a thing, by the way. black on black crime, that hasn't gone away. We haven't even fixed our own community yet. We'll come together, and them same Negroes will come together when a black man's fucked up by a white man. Like we now, like all of a sudden we give a shit, but we can't do this normally. Fuck no. We gotta find a better threat. This shit just frustrates me, bro. Because it's not. I hate my position and the position I've chosen to take in life, because I know this is what I'm gonna have to deal with all the time, and it frustrates me. It frustrates me on both sides. Bitch, why did you jump on a police car? Man, why did you beat that random girl for no fucking reason? They're like, in the point where people are celebrating fucking up cops. Fuck all them cops. Fuck them pigs. And see, people need to have a level head about it. I mean, of course not. Then you got white people co-signing with black people because they're trying to be better people, but I feel like they're not being taught the right way. They're being taught just to co-sign with black people because it looks wrong, but like still have a conversation about it. And then it's weird that you want people who aren't informed, who aren't allowed to be informed and shouldn't be informed or can't be informed because they can't relate, to co-sign on you with some shit. But the only reason why you care is because it helps bring more validity to your cause. I saw a bunch of white people on Twitter co-signing on this whole rioting shit, talking about, and then you have black people promoting them because they co-sign with you, which is like the worst reason to promote somebody, just because they co-sign with you. You should promote motherfuckers who speak their mind and say what needs to be said. Has a conversation. Well, see, he's an ally because he agreed with me. Well, that's great. 10 out of 10. And I guess the irony is that for all my distaste of not liking this whole situation, why is this video being created? Why do I feel the way I feel right now? It's because of this situation. It's because of what's happened. It's because of the rioting. So it's like the video in itself improves the validity of the argument. And that frustrates me probably most of all. They're like, and it's like, God damn it. I'm just tired, bro. I'm tired. I'm tired of people. Fuck white, fuck black, fuck Asian, fuck Native American, fuck all of them fucking races. Fuck. I'm tired of it all. And I'm gonna watch more people die, and I'm gonna watch more people, and the batteries die. I gotta go. Peace.